Welcome to Star Watch Now, your front row seat to all the hottest gossip, drama, and breaking news from the world of entertainment. If it's trending, shocking, or star-studded, we're covering it. Stay tuned. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Today, we bring you a story that feels almost unreal. A young star, Wang Yibo, crashed at 135 kilometers per hour during a professional motorcycle race. His helmet was bloodstained, yet he returned to the track and finished. Off the stage, he quietly donated 3 million yuan to flood relief in Henan, without ever revealing his name. After carrying supplies for 18 hours, he collapsed in the mud. What really lies behind these actions? At the Zhuhai International Circuit, the air was heavy with anticipation. Engines roared, tires screeched against asphalt, and thousands of eyes followed every move on the track. Among the riders was Wang Yibo, a young actor and singer who had long been underestimated by many. Some saw him as just another idol dabbling in sports. But on that day, what happened at 135 kilometers per hour revealed a side of him few could ever imagine. When his motorcycle slid out of control, the crash was violent. Metal scraped against the track, sparks scattered like fireflies in the night, and his body slammed into the ground with terrifying force. The audience gasped as marshals rushed toward him. A crash at such speed is not just dangerous, it is life-threatening. The helmet that had protected him now bore deep scratches, and blood seeped slowly through its lining. Logic, instinct, and medical advice all pointed to one conclusion: he should stop. He should seek treatment. He should walk away. But Wang Yibo refused. After only a brief examination, with his leg bruised and his head bleeding, he chose to return to the race. The decision was almost incomprehensible. To spectators, it looked reckless. To fellow racers, it looked impossible. Yet to him, it was an act of pure determination. He tightened the strap of his helmet, climbed back onto the bike, and accelerated once more into the blur of noise and speed. Later, when a reporter asked if he felt pain, his answer was disarmingly simple. "Once I'm on the track, I don't think about it." That statement carried more weight than it seemed. It revealed not just physical endurance, but a mindset that separated him from the carefully managed image of so many celebrities. In a culture where stars often amplify every effort for attention, here was a man who seemed to strip effort of spectacle and return it to its raw essence: commitment. The crash became more than an accident. It became a mirror of his character. Bloodstained, battered, but unwilling to surrender, he embodied the meaning of professionalism in its most unpolished form. It was not about impressing the crowd, nor about chasing headlines. It was about respecting the track, respecting the craft, and respecting himself. In that moment, Wang Yibo was no longer just a celebrity who acted and sang. He was a racer, a fighter, and above all, a man who chose to stand back up when falling would have been the easier option. The summer of the Henan floods was a time of devastation. Torrential rains had swallowed villages, streets turned into rivers, and families were left clinging to whatever shelter they could find. Volunteers poured in from across the country, ordinary men and women working shoulder to shoulder, driven only by the instinct to help. Among them, hidden behind a mask and drenched in rain, was Wang Yibo. Few recognized him. There were no cameras, no press releases, no entourage following his every move. He was simply another figure carrying sacks of rice, hauling sandbags, and wading through mud that reached above his ankles. Hour after hour he worked, refusing to rest. The sun rose, the water continued to rise, and still he carried on. 18 hours passed before exhaustion finally took hold. His body, deprived of water and drained by relentless labor, gave way. He collapsed face down into the mud, boots soaked, clothes heavy with rain and sweat. Fellow volunteers rushed to his side, lifting him with the same urgency they had shown the flood victims. For them, he was just a young man who had pushed himself beyond his limits. Only later did they discover who he was. When auditors reviewed the donations that had come in, another truth emerged. Among the funds, buried in a list of anonymous contributors, was an entry for 3 million yuan. It was Wang Yibo again, this time not with his hands, but with his wallet. No announcement had been made, No headlines were sought. It was only paperwork that revealed his act. In a world where celebrities often broadcast every charitable deed, framing kindness as a performance, his silence was striking. He seemed to reject the unwritten rules of modern fame, where visibility is currency and every action is an advertisement. Instead, he chose anonymity even in visibility. What mattered to him was not recognition but impact. The image of Wang Yibo lying unconscious in the mud, his boots soaked through, became symbolic. It was a reminder that true compassion is not always polished or visible. Sometimes it is messy, exhausting, and unseen. For him, helping others was never about spectacle, it was about responsibility. And in that hidden moment, stripped of glamour, he revealed a humanity far more powerful than any performance on stage. For Wang Yibo, acting has never been about reciting lines under studio lights or relying on camera tricks to mask imperfections. For him, every role is an immersion, a descent into a world where his body, mind, and spirit must adapt until fiction feels like reality. This philosophy has led him down paths that few actors would dare to tread. When he prepared for Ice, Rain, and Fire, he did not settle for watching documentaries or interviewing police officers. Instead, he lived among them. For 38 hours, he sat undercover with real drug enforcement officers, unmoving in his car, waiting for the smallest sign of illegal activity. The tension was real, the fatigue unbearable, but he insisted on experiencing it. He wanted to understand not only how a narcotics officer looked, but how one thought, endured, and survived. Those hours, invisible to the public eye, transformed his performance into something authentic, etched with a truth that cannot be faked. For Lord of the Skies, a film about test pilots, he began flight training 6 months before filming. The regimen demanded withstanding 9 times the force of gravity, a pressure that even seasoned aviators fear. It was a physical torment that pressed against his ribs, blurred his vision, and drained every ounce of strength. Yet he did not quit. His instructors revealed that he filled a notebook with more than 40,000 words of detailed observations. Every technical nuance, every correction, every reflection carefully recorded. For him, understanding the role was not enough. He had to live it. Then came Hot, where a dance routine demanded a risk far greater than choreography usually allows. He fractured his ribs in rehearsal, the pain sharp and immediate, yet he refused to abandon the scene. Instead, he attempted it again and again, 87 times until the movement was flawless. Most actors would have delegated the scene to a body double. Wang Yibo chose the harder path, allowing pain itself to become part of his performance. This relentless pursuit of authenticity is what separates him from the many faces in modern entertainment. In an industry that often values convenience, image, and speed, his devotion to experience stands almost old-fashioned. Yet it is this very quality that grants his work weight. By living through the hardships of his characters, he gives audiences more than performance. He gives them truth. In France, while filming a street dance documentary, he saw the tragic fire at Notre Dame Cathedral. Quietly, he donated 2 million yuan for its restoration. No media reports. No social media posts. This is rare in today's entertainment world, where charity often doubles as publicity. In an age dominated by traffic, packaging, and constant marketing, Wang Yibo seems like an outlier. His bloodstained helmet, his soaked boots, and his thick notebooks are not trending hashtags, but they carry more weight than carefully designed campaigns. Some say this era lacks real idols. Maybe true idols are not created by hype, but shaped in silence, by perseverance, sacrifice, and sincerity. Wang Yibo reminds us that being professional and worthwhile means doing the right thing, even when no one is watching. In a world of quick fame, his story feels timeless. Thank you for watching. If you found this story meaningful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for